everyone. We are going to get started in one moment, but I just wanted to give some little reminders before we get started. So first, the main room is being recorded for the presentations, but when you're in the breakout spaces, that will not be recorded. So you are free to have those open conversations and interact with the mentors, however that works with the facilitators, but the main room will be recorded as a note. Sabrina, if you're able to put the check-in link again in the chat. If you're here tonight, we ask that you check in just for our purposes so that we can kind of check in with you after the event to see how you thought it went, and just so that we have it on record that you were here. So please just click the link. It's super easy. You just have to click it and it checks you in right away. When the PowerPoint is being shared, we recommend that you have it in side-by-side view, which you can change at the top of the right hand. I'm pointing like you could see at my screen, but it's at the top of the right hand corner of your screen, and it says view, and you can change the different options. Side by side will allow you to see the speaker as well as the PowerPoint at the same time. We hope that you're able to engage in the chat. We saw a bunch of people already doing that, and we're so grateful for that. So thank you. Keep it up. We'd love to see it. And we also ask that you stay muted during this time, but in the breakout rooms, you can unmute yourself, and we ask that you have your cameras on during the breakout rooms just to interact in the space if you're able to. We will get more into the breakout rooms later, but I'm going to pass it over to Dr. McGinty to lead it away.
Thank you so much, Samantha, and good evening, ladies. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Dr. Jewel Plummer Cobb S.T.E.A.M Women's Initiative Conference. I'm so honored that we could gather this evening virtually, and there's so much to be excited about. Tonight's program is all about mentoring, women mentoring women. And this is important, and it's important for a number of reasons, because I can tell you that personally, I would not have enjoyed the career success that I had were it not for mentors. People who invested in me, who coached me, who supported me, who told me the truth about myself when I didn't want to hear it. So tonight, we have an exciting group of women who are assembled here today to engage in this mentorship journey with you. And so I want to encourage you, students and participants, you're going to get out of this session what you put into this session. So be open, be ready to engage, and remember why we're here. Tonight's program and our conference is named for Dr. Jewel Plummer Cobb. She was a scientific researcher and the first African-American woman who was the dean of Douglas College. So understand that is a really big deal. And our theme for this year's conference is reinventing your journey holistically in the age of COVID-19. Now, we all know COVID-19 has taken so much from us, and it's come at a great cost. But tonight, we have an opportunity to begin to think in a forward-looking way and to reinvent ourselves. We're all on a journey. Each of us have our own path that we plan to explore and pioneer. But no matter what it is, you don't go alone. And there are women who've been before you. And so tonight, you're going to have an opportunity to learn from women who are experienced, who are wildly successful, and who have gems of wisdom that they can share with you to help to enrich your journey. So I want to encourage you all to visit the STEAM.rutgers.edu page for more information about the amazing initiatives that we've had planned during this month and the things to come in the year ahead in honor of Dr. Jewel Plummer Cobb. And as you heard earlier from Samantha, this evening's event is being recorded, so please be mindful of that. And of course, if you're a Rutgers student, use the chat link to check in. Now, it is my pleasure and my privilege to introduce my respected colleague and my friend, Valerie L. Anderson. Valerie is an esteemed alumna of Douglas College, class of 1981. She's had more than 35 years of experience in working in the for-profit and non-for-profit sector. So she is someone that you need to know. After earning her bachelor's degree in psychology from Douglas, she spent 21 years in senior management with FedEx, during which she earned an MBA. Valerie began her nonprofit experience as the State Director for Field Services with the March of Dimes, where she oversaw the operations of 3 regional chapters of New Jersey. She continues to serve and lead with passion as the Executive Director of a non-for-profit organization. Valerie has received multiple awards and recognitions during her career, and most recently in 2017, she was the Associate Alumnae of Douglas College. She was awarded the Associate Alumnae of Douglas College Medal and the 2018 New Jersey State Federation for Women's Club of Achievement Award. In 2018, she also earned the Sojourner Truth Phenomenal Woman Award, and she was inducted into the Rutgers African Alumni Hall of Fame. I want you to know that Valerie is more than her titles or her accomplishments. She is a woman who has continually invested in women and invested in girls. She is a woman who embodies what it means to lift as she climbs. And she is a woman who continually gives back to plant the seeds in the next generation. So, Valerie, I love you.
Love you more. Love you more. Thank you so much, Dr. McKenty, and good evening, everyone. And I second everything that Dr. McKenty said in regards to the importance of mentorship. None of us would be where we are if we did not have mentors in our lives. But I will tell you that as women, you know, that we sometimes don't always have mentors in our lives, and we don't always have the advantages that, you know, men sometimes have. And so the importance of making sure that we are there for each other is really, really important. So we are all about lifting as we climb. So it is my honor at this time to introduce to you the esteemed alumni who have graciously agreed to give of their time and their talents to share with you this evening when we're having our conversation circle. So as Dr. McKenty said, the experience, wisdom, advice, and keep it real discussion that these phenomenal women are going to share with you is truly a unique opportunity. And we are so grateful for each one of them and their willingness to spend their evening with us in this great shared space. So now let me take the time to introduce you to these astonishing women. And I have to tell you, I cannot read their full bio because we would be here all night because that's how accomplished and amazing they are. But let me just briefly introduce them to you and share some highlights. So serving as the Entrepreneurs Mentors are Margaret, affectionately known as Marty Gillis, from the Douglas class of 1975. And she majored in history and education in her undergrad. And she, as she had mentioned, she's a graduate of Rutgers Business School, where she obtained an MBA. And Marty currently is the owner of 17 McDonald's franchise. And so we're happy to have Marty with us. Next, I'd like to introduce Tatiana Armatruda, class of 2017. I'm so used to saying that. We're so honored to have a young alum with us. She majored in journalism and media studies, and currently she's a freelance social media manager and an owner of a candle business that she birthed and started during the pandemic. And we're happy to have Tatiana joining us from California. Next is Dorothy Clay, class of 1977. And her undergraduate major was speech pathology. And currently she is the owner of a home healthcare business. So these women will be serving as in the entrepreneurship conversation circle. Next in our mentorship circle will be Dr. Shireen Lewis from the class of 1986. And then her undergraduate degree was in French and Spanish. Currently, she serves as the founder and executive director of Sister Mentors. And its mission is to promote education, particularly among historically disadvantaged and underserved community, such as women and people of color. And I want you to pay attention because she has a special focus on mentoring women of color all the way through the doctoral process. And that's really significant. Next, we have Karen Lynch from the class of 1979, and her undergraduate major was biology and women's studies. And she is a retired sales, marketing, and global business development and consumer products executive. And Karen serves as a Vice President of Alumnae Relations for the Associate Alumnae of Douglas College and is very active in the mentoring program. Tanisha Coleman from the class of 2008. Her undergraduate degree was in urban studies, and currently she is the Director of Special Projects for Rutgers Biomedical and Health Sciences. And Tanisha truly values the mentoring process, and she herself has been a mentee and a mentor. In the Leadership Mentors Circle, we will have Adina Brown, class of 2012, and her undergraduate major was psychology. And she currently is a councilwoman in Old Bridge, and I believe the first African-American to hold this position in her town. Dr. Deborah Perez, the class of 1984, between these 2000, 1984. And her undergraduate major was communication. And she currently is the principal and CEO of her own company, where she serves as a senior philanthropic advisor and an independent executive consultant. And Dr. Perez is someone who is committed to equity, justice, and scholar activism. Next, we have Diane Mills McKay from the class of 69, and her undergraduate degree was American Studies. Currently, she is a lecturer in the School of Management and Labor Relations at Rutgers, a longtime advocate for women's equity, and currently serves on the board of directors for the National Association for Commissions on Women. And our last mentoring circle will be on health and wellness. And those mentors are Amanda Hugelmeyer from the class of 2004, who majored in exercise science. Currently, she is the HR specialist for wellness and engagement at a major energy company. And I'm here to tell you, Amanda's no joke if you ever take a fitness class with her. Next, we have Dr. Tiffany Tolliver, 2004. Her undergraduate degree was biological sciences. And currently, she is a family medicine physician at a major medical health system. Dr. Tolliver is one of the many sheroes that was and continues to be on the front line during the global health crisis. And we have Belle Estedante from the class of 2019, who received a Doctor of Pharmacy degree. She is currently the product manager at Sanofi. And in this role, she is leading the brand strategy of the Rare Disease Patient Support Program. So please join me in celebrating the success and accomplishment of these phenomenal women, especially as we continue to highlight and spotlight women during Women's International Month. And I hope you also noticed something as I was sharing a little bit about their undergraduate majors and their current roles, that many of them are not directly working in fields that align with their undergrad majors. And so I encourage you, as you get into your breakout sessions, that you ask your mentors about transferable skill sets and how what they majored in is not where they totally landed in their current career. So that's a really significant thing to learn and to find out how that you can apply that to your own lives. Now I'd like to introduce our fierce breakout session facilitators. These women are women that clearly know their worth and bring their own arsenal of accomplishments. So first I'd like to introduce Yakima Melton, and she is the director in the Department of Student Centers and Activities. Next, we have Amanda Ray Barboza Borella, who's the campus director of Bush Campus and Residence Life. Dr. Tasha Coleman, who's with the RU TV editorial media specialist. Sheree Boyce, academic advisor for the Honors College, and Rosemarie Janeo, resident life coordinator. So thank you all for serving in this important capacity as you help facilitate good conversation and discussion and keep things moving in those breakout rooms. Before I introduce the next person who will continue to direct you in the next aspect of this program, I must extend publicly a heartfelt thank you to Karima Woodyard. Kick it up in the chat room and put some noise out there for Karima. Because if you know her, then you know that she exemplifies leadership, professionalism, creativity, engagement, and she is an event planning extraordinaire. Karima knows how to get the job done, and I just want to thank you for your hard work, and the fruit of your labor is shining right now. And I know I can hear Karima saying, Valerie, it's not all about me. I'm a team player, and yes, she is. And there has been a lot of people on your team that have helped to make this program a success. So thank you to everyone who had any part in this program to honor the legacy of Dr. Jewel Plummer Cobb and to continue to empower women. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Lastly, I would like to introduce Samantha DeMars, whose pronouns are she, hers, and hers. And she is a first-year graduate student pursuing her master's degree in education and college student affairs. Within her program, she has an assistantship with the Student Centers and Activities, Student Involvement Office, and a field experience placement in the Center for Social Justice Education and LGBT communities. Prior to her time at Rutgers, she graduated from Lafayette College in May of 2020. Moving forward, she's excited to pursue her career in higher education administration, helping students to gain access to post-secondary education, feel supported during their journey, and assisting students to grow and develop to reach their full potential and goals in college and beyond. Samantha has been my valuable co-partner in assisting me in planning our portion of this program. Samantha, thank you. And it has been an absolute pleasure working with you. Rutgers is fortunate to have you as a graduate intern, and I am so fortunate to have you as my new friend. So thank you, and take it away.
Thank you, Valerie. I really appreciate it. First time ever getting someone to read my bio. So exciting. So I want to thank everyone who's spoken so far, and thank you all for being here tonight. I just want to go over some breakout room ground rules before we head into the event, the main event. So the breakout rooms will last for 45 minutes. At this point, we might get a couple extra minutes in there based on what time we're at. But the goal is that you'll come back at 7:45 into the main room. Feel free to ask your own questions and engage the alumni mentors however you feel fit, and if you have anything prepared. They do have some questions that they were given ahead of time just to spark conversation to get things going, so don't feel the pressure if you don't have a question off the top of your head. Please keep your video on if possible. We understand that it's not easy for everybody, but if you have your video on, it will just make it easier to engage in conversation with everybody that's in the room and with the mentors to make it feel like an actual conversation. Only unmute if asking a question. There's going to be a lot of people in the space at once. So we don't want people cutting each other off or jumping over each other. So just unmute or use the raise hand feature or whatever you need to kind of be able to share ahead of time. Utilize the chat as needed. Seems like people are already doing that, which is fantastic, but definitely do that going into the breakout rooms as well. Also, just as a note, I trust that you all know, but please be respectful and courteous throughout the time. We want this to be engaging and wonderful for everybody, so we ask that you're respectful at that time. And also, lastly, like Karima said in the beginning, let's just have fun, because this is what we want out of this. We want us to connect, enjoy the time, and be able to engage with one another. So with that, we are going to head out into the breakout rooms.
Okay, had to unmute myself. We had some three different areas of entrepreneurship, should I say, with great advice all around, which could be covered in all three or any area actually of entrepreneurship. And one of the main takeaways is there is no roadmap. You are defining what will be. Another major takeaway, or in addition to that, is you can't do it all alone, and you don't have to do it all alone. So I know one of the things that we discussed was you can do things, and having tenacity and having, all this grit to be able to do things, but you don't have to do them alone. And mentorship is a great resource for that. If you have a mentor, or you're seeking mentorship in a specific area, it is something that will help you get it done, so that you're not trying to do it all yourself, or trying to accomplish such big tasks at one time on your own. Another major takeaway is just in general being underestimated as a woman. Being underestimated as a woman in a male-dominated field, or even in a field where it's not male-dominated, but women are seen as aggressive, whereas men are seen as, go-getters. These are just different things that, having a mentorship can help having a mentor can actually help navigate you into, how to be looked at a little differently without changing who you are. So that's a little bit from the entrepreneurship room.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tasha. That was some really, really great, key points. So we're going to move on to Sheree from the mentorship room.
Hi, everyone. So first of all, in our group, our students were fantastic. They had so many questions. I wish we had more time to get to them. But time flies when you're having fun. So that's where we're at. So one of our major keys that we spoke about in our mentorship group was just the idea of being intentional about what you do and who serves as your mentor. But the main thing is that at the end of the day, mentorship happens up, down, and around. So there's mentorship happening everywhere. So even if you're a mentee, you can teach your mentor something, and then your mentor is there to teach you something as well. And just respecting that relationship and understanding that, mentorship takes a lot of time and a lot of energy. And you shouldn't really be having a mentorship relationship where it's one-sided. It's two-sided. So there should be reach out on both ends in regards to reaching out to your mentor and your mentor reaching out to you so you can get the most of that mentorship relationship. One of the other keys that, we spoke about was even if your major doesn't fully align with what you end up doing career-wise, that doesn't mean that those experiences are not laying the bricks for your foundation to get to where you need to go. I know a lot of students get absorbed in, but my major is supposed to be this and I'm supposed to do this, but that doesn't mean you're not learning along the way. So just kind of keep that in mind as you move forward. And then those were our major keys. Like that was, we had a lot of stuff to talk about, but the main thing was just to be intentional and just understanding that mentorship is a 2- and 3-way street. It goes all around. And then that's all you need to do. And then mentors are key.
All right. Thank you so much, Sheree. That was some good stuff. All right. Dean Asada from the leadership room.
So one of the greatest takeaways for me was the mantra shared by Dr. Perez that said, I am perfect, I am whole, I am complete. Learning to be confident in who we are, showing up as we are authentically, and understanding that everyone may not understand that or receive that. Some of our women shared the feeling like they were in these STEM majors, and when they showed up confidently, being told that they need to go back in their place, and people reaffirming insecurities and encouraging them to remain in that small space where they felt that they were shrinking. And so we talked about the importance of having cross-cultural mentorships, right? And not being afraid of having male mentors, but also understanding that depending on your identity, you can't present the same way as a male mentor or a male leader might present in a room. And that sometimes, particularly as women of color, no matter how you try to soften it up, it is still going to be perceived as assertive. So you have to make a decision about what your feedback you're going to take and what you're going to leave on the table. And then lastly, learning the importance of approaching conflict with warmth, and how sometimes just asking someone how they're doing can help make a tense situation a little more light.
I love that. Thank you so much. All right, Amanda Ray from Health and Wellness.
Hello, yes, our conversation got cut short, which is really sad, but I think that's a good sign of just where it was going. I think some of the key highlights is that you can be a mentor and a mentee at the same time, and whatever that role isn't always dictated on titles or positions, that there is knowledge that we can gain, and we can be mentors with peers, with colleagues, and even folks that perhaps we supervise. And I think Sheree also highlighted that from her group as well. Mentorships can come through programs. And so, if you're looking at a job or a program, educational academic program, they might already have of mentorship programs that are already set up for you to succeed. And so looking out for that, but then also recognizing you develop and build that relationship from there. So whether it's texting, hanging out, that relationship can be really dynamic in any aspect. There's not one way to have a mentor-mentee relationship. And also you'll likely have and can have multiple mentors that guide you in different aspects of your life and your career. And just like relationships in our personal lives, mentor-mentee relationships also can evolve and change over time, whether they strengthen, perhaps there is a breakup of some sort. It's okay to put effort to grieve from those things, and then also grow from them as well. And then also just important to know that it's good to ask questions. That I think in all of the examples that were provided, it was not just one person succeeding or pushing forward, but work inspiration was really built within community and understanding where needs were, and then also where folks' talents and skills came to meet whatever those needs were, by asking questions, by having conversation with mentors, with colleagues, and building those things together. So in the end, you're not alone, and we're not meant to be either. So thank you, and many thanks to the alumni who joined the Health and Wellness group.
Thank you so much. I mean, one thing that resonated for me from that was show up as your authentic self. I mean, I have to tell you, I have multiple mentors, from the women in my family who push me and challenge me and love up on me and tell me about myself when I'm acting up or acting out of character, to the women I'm surrounded by here at Rutgers University. I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you without those amazing, amazing women. And so thank you so much again to our alumnae mentors and our facilitators. And thank you to our students for your time and attention. I got to bounce in and out of the different conversations, and you all were focused in and attentive and listening and taking notes. And my hope is that we keep these conversations going, because mentorship relationships are critical. All right, we're going to move on to our Women's Empowerment Prize. So now I have the pleasure and honor to announce the recipients for the annual Women's Empowerment Prize. The Women's Empowerment Prize was established to recognize current self-identified women students with a $250 prize for their tremendous contributions to the Rutgers University New Brunswick community, as well as their commitment to academics, leadership, and service. I must say, I was totally impressed by all of the folks who submitted for this prize. But it is my honor to announce our 5 recipients this year. Our first recipient is Veronica Bido. Veronica is pursuing a political science and Middle Eastern studies major with a minor in Arabic and will be graduating this year. She is also an ambassador for the Douglas Women's Residential College. Veronica is passionate about advocating for both human rights and international rights and women's empowerment throughout the world. Help me congratulate in the chat, Veronica. Our next recipient is Marie Yamaoka. Marie is seen as a senior, majoring in biological sciences and minoring in chemistry with a pre-med track. Marie serves on the RUSA-E board and has a part-time job working with children with disabilities. Help me congratulate Marie. Our next recipient is Murphy Botcher. Murphy is pursuing a double major studying political science and journalism with a specialization in global media studies. They are minoring in women, gender, and sexuality studies with a certificate in women's leadership. They hope to continue their work as a journalist focusing on social issues and politics, then pursue a career in law. Congratulations, Murphy. Our next recipient is Catherine Sackey. Catherine is pursuing a sociology major and minoring in women and gender studies in education. She plans to research college preparedness for unserved youth and hopes to develop a curriculum to introduce college to children in public schools, grades K through 12. Congratulations, Catherine. Our last recipient of this year is Sandra Alex. Sandra is currently a senior majoring in business analytics and information technology, graduating in May 2021. After graduation, she will join Johnson & Johnson's Technology Leadership Development Program as an associate analyst for the next 2 years. Congratulations, Sandra. We want to thank everyone who has donated to this prize. Your efforts have made these opportunities for our students a reality. And we thank you. Congrats again to our amazing recipients. This year, we celebrated 5 years of furthering the legacy of my idol, Dr. Jewel Plummer Cobb. In the midst of this pandemic, social unrest, racial unrest, election concerns, and everything else going on in this world, we were challenged to reimagine the way we engage our students and community, as well as think about topics that were timely and relevant. And through it all, what a Women's History Month we had. Our theme for this year was reinventing your journey holistically in the age of COVID-19, where we provided programming that focused on women's entrepreneurship, leadership, advocacy, mentorship, and COVID-19 vaccination awareness in communities of color. Throughout these discussions, I cried, I was so emotional, I smiled, I loved up on the many women who contributed to our conversation, and I was blown away. But you know what? It challenged me to truly think about the true impact of this past year and the many ways this pandemic has impacted women in society. This pandemic has taught us so much, but what it also revealed a lot about the world we live in and the people around us. Sonia Renee Taylor said, "We will not go back to normal. Normal never was. Our pre-corona existence was not normal other than we normalized greed, inequity, exhaustion, depletion, extraction, disconnection, confusion, rage, hoarding, hate, and lack. We should not long to return, my friends. We are being given the opportunity to stitch a new garment, one that fits all of humanity and nature. Stitch a new garment." As student leaders, I challenge you to reflect on what normal means to you and what more normal means to marginalized communities. I challenge you to think about your platform, your voice. I want you to consider how your voice can be amplified beyond campus, beyond your scope. I encourage you to walk across communities and work across communities to challenge what we have known as normal, if not for anyone else, but for those within our community who may not have a voice. On behalf of the Dr. Jewel Plummer Cobb S.T.E.A.M Women's Empowerment Initiatives Executive Committee, we'd like to thank you all in attendance today and throughout the month. We'd like to thank Chancellor Malloy in the Office of the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor Mena in the Division of Student Affairs, the Student Centers and Activities team, Teresa Kim and our marketing team. You are remarkable. Our marketing was phenomenal this semester. Our amazing alumnae mentors who gave us their time today and wisdom. I am blown away. To our facilitators and panelists who have shared their stories throughout the month. Ariel Dublin and Rusa, Sabrina, Samantha, Lori, Alexis, and the entire student involvement team. Joe Radowski and all partners throughout the university who have supported the Dr. Jewel Plummer Cobb S.T.E.A.M Women's Empowerment Initiatives, past and present. To Dr. McGinty, to Valerie, and to Keisha, thank you for your vision, for your passion, and the immense amount of time you put into honoring the legacy of Dr. Jewel Plummer Cobb. I want to give you your flowers now. You women are outstanding, my mentors, my friends, and you've done so much to uplift and serve. We did not let this pandemic stop us, and I am proud of all the efforts put forth this month. I want to thank you all, and I want to remind you to visit STEAM.rutgers.edu for more opportunities to engage. Now let's put on some music and enjoy one another. This program is over, and I want to thank you all.